Welcome. And as just Hannah said, yes, this needs to be interactive. So don't hesitate to interrupt me if you think that something is wrong or if you want more information. Keep in mind that we got 10 minutes each, and then we have more discussion. So I'm Emanuele, Gennai, and I work for Esri since a lifelong, in the good old times where hacking wasn't in the dictionary. I say good old times because I'm getting old probably, obviously. There is a vision on open geodata and GIS about transforming our world. I like the word transforming. It's more than changing. It's something that goes through a process. It's a kind of metamorphosis actually that we see, and seeing you guys here makes me understand, better how we can use that metamorphosis to do good, and not just, buying more iPhones and more stuff. That's not for me the best trend that technology is providing to the human being today. It's really on how we can use that thing that is happening to us, because it just came over the last few years, in a way that we can do good. And so the other panelists will develop this, I'm sure, much better than I do where I can. But, really transforming, metamorphosing our world and around us, and the way that we perceive our environment is key. The work that Esri does is really nothing else than building the platform. We've been on business for almost 45 years. The company was founded in '69, for those of you that don't know, you weren't born. I was barely, a child, and that's, our work is really enabling technology. What does it mean? We're not building technologies per se. We enabling technology, as I say, with open data, for the people to be able to use it and do something with it, whatever they do. But with the people that you'll hear, later on, we'll go more on social benefit areas, millennial goals, and doing good. And of course, technology can be used in kind of ways. GIS is an acronym that means Geographic Information Systems. If I say this, it's because for a while it's been, other words, geospatial or whatever, location-based services, But I think that it comes at the end with geography, because geography is a science that the man has, probably is the first science that the man ever used. Because, knowing where you are and where is the animal that you have to hunt is something that Cro-Magnon probably did, much ways before they will even be able to count the number of sheep they had in their garden. So it's been transformed into a web GIS, and this again, we use the word cloud mapping, web mapping, but GIS is a science. It has geography, so it's enabling, it's leveraging, of course, what currently technology provides and the current trends, the cloud, the web, faster computing, web services, big data. It's of course integrated all kind of things, imagery, sensor music, all these things that you need to count one by one. There are millions of buoys on our seas that are, getting data all the time, millions of bytes of data. How do we get this in music? So it's integrated all these things, and WebGIS is helping to do this. And of course, it's, you see things emerging, like pervasive access. This is new in the times of ArcView, for those that knew these times. It wasn't pervasive at all. You had a few users, that's all. Nobody understood, you had to print a map and then hand it to somebody. So this is what is emerging. This is what WebGIS or the cloud is giving us today. This is just to tell you that today we don't have to think about interoperability anymore. Although there are people that are a bit obsessed about interoperability, it's just up there in the cloud. It's on the platform, any platform. You cannot call it a platform if you cannot, feed any stuff in and then out, and even, possibly on the fly, so that, this image is going to pan sharpen and then mosaic and then serve as a service, and people can pick the service and do the damage assessment stuff, So this is what the technology provides, all data types, it's actually enabling open knowledge. By having this ease of use, you can, think of the real stuff, which is not getting the wires together, but it's, but what are we going to do now with all this? Can we transform our world or the way that we perceive it? I think yes. We have to discuss. WebJS integrates organizations and people. It's breaking the barriers. You see this picture is quite explicit, from, workers in one organization or different organizations looking at the same thing, clustered, with partitions, and then you have to knock at the door and say, shit, if he's not here, maybe he'll come tomorrow. Well, on a collaboration framework, on a cooperation framework, something that we're building together. We're not just working together, we're building something together. It's creating a relationship. It's enabling sharing and doing better, by cooperating. I think it's an interesting concept. Open content, accessible from any client. This is also something that has emerged recently. It's transformational. Because before, you had, this guy has a Windows phone, and this one has an iPod, and this one has an Android phone, and then, we have an API for Android, and another API for Macintosh, and another API, and each one is specializing in this kind of. Now, it's just any map on any device, and any device for any map. So that gives the possibility of what has been called recently the common operating picture. We're thinking of a problem, can be a flood, can be climate change, can be, saving the snows of the Himalaya, but all the people, NGOs, organizations, local and governments, and people, crowdsourced information, is the new paradigm, will have the possibility to have the same operating picture, and that really makes a difference. Before you had to, again, knock to the door, say, give me your map. It's a paper map. You just scan it and then, georeference it and then put it back on another map, which is also a pregnant stuff. So I think this is quite. So what is Esri in all this? Why are we useful? Why do we think that our contribution will help the vision? Well, because we build many relationships. As I said, 45 years is enough time. It's a lifelong to build relationships over time and keep those relationships alive, so that we become friends, or there is a term in English, but looking commonly at the same event, at the same problem, the same issue. You see, there are a few NGOs on this list. Don't look at the list. It's really Esri has about 400,000 organizations using the RGS platform, or going to the RGS platform. They may be still on the pattern, which is more client-server transactional, or something more desktop analysis. But bringing everything on what we call the RGS platform, these organizations are the organizations that are in the field, that build authoritative data. It's the Canton of Geneva. You saw them; they were around. Swiss Topo, but it's also the conventions to protect the waters of the Lake Chad. You've got a convention there that does this, or it is a group that is thinking on how to better perform response to floods. All these people have data. So what does it mean, open data, and how can Esri contribute? Well, by providing the technology, by advocating the use of the geographic thinking, then we can help those people to bring up their data and make it available to others. And a lot of this data is really locked. Some is open, but people don't really know how to search and retrieve it. I think that in this case, technology will really make a difference. I saw many times, people, I don't want to open my data, and then you give them the tool to do it, and then you discover that they did it, because it's fun actually to open up the data somehow. So we have these organizations using RGIS Online, building their maps, exposing their data. Esri contributes by buying data to do the base maps, and then of course we've got data that we build ourselves. and all this quantity of information is made available in the cloud. Yeah, I'm done. I think that's the last one. So we have a number of programs. Software is free, or just for a transactional fee to NGOs. We've got a program. Esri is on GitHub, so you go and look. You've got hundreds of apps that are available in open source. We are, going in this direction as well to make it easy for people like you to just use the platform and build up your own knowledge on this. These are a few examples, so I just go through them. It's just some examples that are, more related to our next speakers, citizen engagement and crowdsourcing, of course. And then human health, and I will just finish with an example that will take me, time is running, eh?
Well, I'm standing
So
here.
that's the
so people, that's the signal. When I'm coming closer and closer.
I don't know what kind of signal is it.
Go ahead.
So the polio eradication program is a beautiful example that I want to give you. There is no way to eradicate polio without geography and without, having people. Northern Nigeria, Somalia now, the last outbreak, of course on the border between Afghanistan and Pakistan, there is polio. And you cannot get rid of polio if you don't vaccinate every child. I think the ratio is more than 95%. How do you reach there when there are places where, not even OpenStreetMap has gone there to map the town? Some places that are just unknown. It's a human right, that my government has enough attention for me that they want to know where I am. Because if I'm caught in a flood, they can come and rescue me. We see, all these cameras as threatening in the northern world. But in some places, people are begging, to have attention. So the polio will be eradicated, maybe not towards 2017 as it was first announced, but it will be eradicated thanks to vaccine and all the nurses and doctors that are working and workers that contribute, but also thanks to GIS. So 15 minutes. That's too much.
Yes. So why
I'm gonna
no. Okay. So why I'm changing slides? Barbara.
Okay.
You take one question. One question, and then we're going to have a big discussion after the presentations. One very question. Who? Simon.
I think going back to one thing that you mentioned, the base maps that you are providing, have you considered providing them on a non-proprietary platform? Hannes wanted difficult questions.
So we are extending the use of GIS to our users. So this is the first, I would say, reason why we built the RGS platform, is for our users to be able to open the data, share it, put it side by side and compare it. And of course, then we have built those base maps. Build base maps, just the ocean base map is a team of 7 to 8 people. So that costs millions of dollars that Esri is investing. Maybe you will like the way that you're proprietary, because Jack all he's doing is investing the money, gets into Esri to build more stuff. So I think this is the answer of your question. But we have a lot of stuff which is open source, like models, templates, apps, maps, you name it. And you can use the platform for free if you like. But I don't think we're gonna serve these base maps as services, that anyone can use. It's for our users first.
Okay, thanks. Okay, and now we're very, very honored to welcome Barbara Ryan.